I think everybody would be happy though. Wait, they'll probably go to my old house. Oh,
Yeah, now that you're
Hey, do
gone.
we have?
oh, that's right.
Minutes. We don't have to, well, we still have, I'm just wondering if we have a quorum to vote on the minutes.
Two, yeah,
7?
4, 6. Where's up?
Were they all at the meeting?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're saying.
So, yeah, we have
We
minutes.
can hold off on the voting on the minutes, that's fine.
And it'll be after the presentation
Karen's
anyway. Okay, yes.
There we go.
Okay.
I would generally do it to phone.
Robert.
Or what is it called? The guy who.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert. Robert.
You're right.
yeah. You don't.
Crazy
have to-
Robert.
You don't need to have been present at the previous meetings to vote on minutes. Oh, I didn't know that. Although it's.
So why don't we get started?
Hey.
So, good afternoon. We'll get started with our first official meeting of 2026 of Benlick. Would note that we do have a sign-in sheet. We do have a quorum. So welcome, and why don't we get started by having the welcoming and introduction for new Benlick board members. I'll turn to Jocelyn to see.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's exciting to see a new board. I'm sure the new transition has been overwhelming for all of you, and we appreciate your time, and we'll try to make this very strategic today. But what we thought might be a good idea, since there isn't any major action item on the docket today, we just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview as to who we are, what we've done over the past decade as a land bank, and give you a little bit of a better idea about what you will be doing on the board of directors, and hopefully that you're interested in some of the work, and we're really looking forward to to your participation and your insight. So I just thought we'd take you through, and hopefully it'll be interesting. Should I turn this one off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we try to put a lot of pictures in, so it'll keep you interested. So great. So that's first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a little bit of an overview. Welcome everybody, honestly, to the to New York State Land Banking. So Benlick is one of 31 land banks across the state. This year in 2026, the governor is now allowing up to 45 land banks. So there is a strong commitment to keeping and growing the land bank population. There has been over $150 million committed by New York State to date to fund land banks. Most of our funding comes from New York State HCR, Housing and Community Renewal. That's the majority of funding. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. We got going around 2012 is when the land bank was formed here. We were one of the first of 10 land banks in New York State. And we are one of the 3 largest land banks in terms of activity. So Syracuse Land Bank would hold the most inventory. They do a lot of activity and development. The Albany Land Bank would probably be second in terms of the amount of inventory that they hold, and Benlick would be third. But you can see the land banks are spread out all over the region. Lots of rural land banks, urban land banks, and they all have a little bit of a different focus area, whether that's brownfield development, redevelopment, rural development, and infill development. So Benlick only acquires vacant lots or vacant properties. And when we acquire those properties, whether it's through negotiation, could be through an auction process. We work with the 4 FGUs that are sitting around our table today. City of Tonawanda and Lackawanna each hold their own auctions, which is why they were on this board of directors. And then the county of Erie and Buffalo also hold auctions. Now we'll hold off the Supreme Court conversations and whether or not we're still participating in auctions. That hasn't happened in a while, but we still are negotiating properties with the 4 FGUs. So essentially, our land bank is a tool to redevelop, reuse, or implement strategic land use initiatives in a controlled and purposeful manner. In other words, we try to cooperate with all the communities that we work with across Erie County to help guarantee an outcome for a vacant property that could be tax distressed or simply just a demolition property. Hey, Tom, just doing a little Benlick overview. I know you have some familiarity. So next, Matt, thanks. How do we work? How does Benlick work? First of all, we take title to that vacant, abandoned, and distressed residential land Our staff and our board, our staff evaluates the property for rehabilitation, new construction, suitability, demolition. What are we going to do with it? And then when we're able, we'll either rehabilitate a property, we can build a new home. We can also work with other public and private partners. We can get property to other not-for-profits. So we're a tool to sort of help acquire and dispose of property based on policies and based on land use objectives. That's essentially what we're doing here. Next. At a glance, what have we been doing over the last? We've been active for about 10 full years. I would say our first acquisition was in 2014. So actually involved in working and disposing since 2015. We've acquired 168 vacant structures, 106 vacant lots. We've completed about 113 demolitions. Most of the demolitions are those happened a long time ago, and they were mostly all in the city of Buffalo. Very few demolitions are occurring at this point. Right now, we're trying to add units, to our region. We've completed about 104 rehabs, and then we've got 71 houses newly built. 64 of those are underway right now. How are we funded? Just a little bit of an overview. We've gotten $4.5 million from the Attorney General. That kind of got the land banks up and running. Those were funding that we got from the bank redlining crises of 2008 and 9. So we were distributed money from Royal Bank of Scotland, different lawsuits, Bank of America. That's kind of what that was the initial source of funding. Since then, we've received 4.3 and $1.8 million added together. Sorry, what is that right now? From New York State HCR. HCR tends to be, at this point, our main source of statewide funding. We are currently also working with American Rescue Plan funding, where we're completing our 52-unit ARPA infill initiative. That's a $25.7 million one-time grant that we received to do that work. We've also leveraged $5.3 million of private investment. That means that we found responsible owners to purchase properties and add value to those properties in addition to the money that we've added to them. And then we've received about $510,000 in non-governmental grants. So that's over the last 10 years. Thank you. Total sales proceeds have been about $10.3 million. And adding, as you can see, assessed value and new local taxes annually generating about $260,000 from Benlick improved properties. Just a few pictures to show you the variety of things that we've been doing. That what you see in front of you here is a historic home. This is in Black Rock, the historic Black Rock neighborhood of Buffalo. This is a house. You can see pictures from the original 1940. This is what it looked like when we acquired that property through the auction process. And this is the property as it looked when we sold it last fall. And next, just move on. You can see some of the interiors. Now, this happened to be a beautiful property, a little bit because it's 6 bedrooms, a little bit too large for an investor to come in and improve. HCR was in favor of restoring this property. It actually really helped to solidify what is a very solid and dense neighborhood. So we were able to do a complete reno of this property. Next, Matt, you can see, and really lovely. And we sold it for over $300,000, which was sold to a large family. And so it was an income restricted property, Ben, is that accurate?
Yes.
Income restricted property. So it met the affordability with the amount of people and children that moved into the home. And it was, I believe, set a new comp in the neighborhood of Black Rock. But most important, it really solidified the neighborhood. And we've done other work around this neighborhood to complement the work on East. So just another example in the town of Cheektowaga. This is an example of we do work with our municipal partners. So people like Michael, like Adam, like people that are in the town of Cheektowaga, they will bring properties to us that need attention. This property was the victim of a fire. It wasn't an auction. We were requested to acquire this property by the town because we tried to help guarantee a good outcome for the property. So we were able to improve that and sell that as an affordable home. We also had a great program that was going on pre-pandemic for the most part. called Vacant to Value. And what we did was we worked with partners again throughout the county. This is an example of a home in Angola, where we were actually doing several. We were really busy down in Angola for a while, and we were picking up properties at the auction and finding responsible buyers. So the goal was that we wanted somebody who was going to acquire the property from us. They did their own rehab. They worked with our construction specialist who prepared a work scope for them. We would quarterly go and do the inspections on this property. And at the end of the process, we would release the lien that was placed on the property to make sure that that buyer completed their work. So in other words, it was an opportunity for us to get the property to someone else, let them do the work, let them leverage the investment. And that way it's making it easier for everybody and really putting a great face to the street. So we have several great, that was a wonderful program. Matt, just another one, just some more examples of where we are able to do this kind of work. This is a property on Grote Street in Buffalo, so kind of over near Chandler Street and that Wegmans Amherst Street, where we were able to find a buyer who came in, redid the property, and put a good face to the block. Next, this is City of Tonawanda property on Adams Street. Again, a great buyers who came in, did a wonderful both interior and exterior rehab, and again, really presented a great quality project, and they were really great to work with. So since let's say 2019, we've been doing a little bit more what we call urban infill. So we are trying to we've received funding to take land and lots where homes have stood in the past, former demolition sites, and add new construction. So in 2019, we acquired this double lot on Longnecker Street in Lovejoy, and we were next, Matt. Thanks. We were able to put 2 homes on this lot. Actually, go back to the firmer. Yeah, thank you. Wanted to just also give the board an example of how we try to work with the community to solve urban infill issues. So we did acquire this lot, but we also held a public meeting with the block to understand what some of their concerns were, to understand what they wanted to see as a part of new construction. So as you can see on this block, there are a lot of homes that don't have driveways. And mostly the people that showed up to the public meeting said, hey, we don't need any more curb cuts on this street. We already can't find anywhere to park as it is. So we said, what can we do, to create more urban infill, to create a way to re-densify the block, but also help to solve an issue on the street. So what we did was we created a flag lot. As you can see, that's the drone shot from above. We actually built 2 homes that shared a driveway. These homes, it was a wonderful project. We worked with our builder, that was Sunset Custom Homes. We do have a good group of builders that we work with. These homes sold extremely quickly, no issues, and they were actually the first 2 new homes that were built in Lovejoy, I believe, in over 25 years. So adding new urban infill to different areas of the city. Thanks. This is just here's some additional examples just to let you all know we not only do stick-built homes, but we've been building modular homes since 2015. So this is a property that we did in the city of Tonawanda in 2015. We acquired a house in the city of Tonawanda auction. Sometimes a home is just too far gone in order to save it or do a rehab. So it was a home that we were able to demolish, but we were also able to determine that it was a marketable neighborhood for a new home. And at that time in 2015, there was a modular builder who was local. So we were able to work with IQ Modular, a local modular, and this is actually panelized construction. So rather than being the kind that gets dropped down with a crane, this is almost like an Amish, sort of like a barn raising, where they actually put the walls up and built the house on site, which was a really interesting process. So just another next, Matt. And then here's another example of modular that we did in 2017. And this was your standard modular where you're dropping a crane. And this was a home, again, on Donna in Depew, good area with a really good school district where we had to demolish a home But again, we were able to strategically build a new home, again, using the local modular builder. And what started to happen after 2017, for some reason, is we would put out bids for modular and for stick build, and all of a sudden the modular bids started coming in higher than the stick builds. So we started with modular and then we sort of went into back to the stick building process. And now we're back to modulars again. As you'll see, this is a review of here's what's going on right now with Benlet. These are the things we have going on. So we've got our 47 new constructed homes in Buffalo and 5 in Cheektowaga. That's part of what we call our ARPA infill initiative. That's the $25 million that we received from the city and county. We also have our Adams Street initiative, which is 12 newly constructed stick-built homes all on one block. So you'll see some pictures of these things. And then we also have land bank ongoing rehabilitations and again, land bank new construction homes. So that's the menu. Right now, we've got 67 homes either under construction or rehab. So just a few pictures, starting with ARPA, again, 25 million. All of these homes will be sold to moderate income buyers. So the federal restrictions are 300% of the poverty level, which equates to approximately 100% of the AMI of Erie County residents. So there will be a maximum selling price for low moderate buyers. And our demolition, our neighborhoods that we're working in are Cheektowaga, the First Ward, Black Rock, Riverside, Kensington, Bailey, and then the West Side and Lower West Side. So the houses are scattered. Next map. This is just another map of where that housing is going up. Cheektowaga, we've got all 5 of those homes complete. 4 of them are sold and 1 still remains available. Black Rock, we've got 8 complete, 4 under construction. Kensington, Bailey, 11 currently under construction, 16 in the West Side, 6 in the First Ward, and 1 in Maston Park.
Which one's still available, Jocelyn?
44 Long in Cheektowaga. This is an example here of the stick build home that will be built. So 22 out of the 47 homes in Buffalo are stick built, and they all look exactly like this. We worked with HHL Architecture to come up with a typology and a design for the homes, which there was a long planning process, and we got a lot of input and review, and it was determined that this style of home really reflected just a typical Buffalo style of home. So it's interesting, almost anywhere you put it, it really fits in, whether you're in Black Rock, the West Side, or Kensington Bailey. So we have 22 of these homes, and you can see the finishes, and they're all pretty much exactly the same except for the outside exterior color. They're all 3 bedrooms. There they are, fit right in within the Black Rock neighborhood. These just got completed. If you could just go back real quick,
Yep.
Thank you. They're all 3 beds, 1.5 bath, 4 mini split heating zones, 1,365 square feet with an extra storage space in the attic where you can stand up. Thanks, Matt. And that's kind of how they fit in the Black Rock neighborhood. And next. The rest of the homes that we're doing for ARPA, 25 of them, those are modular homes. And Matt was able to get these great drone shots. This is just from a few weeks ago, lowering one of the modulars onto the site. So the modulars are going to be both 1-story and 2 stories, modern layouts, high quality construction. We're working with Champion Homes, and we don't really have any more advanced photos to share with you, but we're getting there. So yeah, and next will be our. Oh,
I forgot the video.
You can advance it, and we'll just go on. And I think just so you understand the phasing schedule, Black Rock Riverside homes are open now for sale. Kensington Bailey should be coming online in March, and the West Side and the First Ward and Maston and Black Rock, in April. Black Rock, Kensington, and West Side will be finished this summer. So by August of 2026, we'll have all 47 of those City of Buffalo homes ready, pushed out to the market. So getting to the end here. Here is our Adams Street infill initiative, and actually, can you go? There you go.
Yeah.
This is an interesting infill initiative because it's not just one-offs or two-offs. We're actually building 12 homes on one block, which is a huge undertaking and really hasn't been done very often in the city of Buffalo. So we're hoping that Benlick sort of broke down some barriers to encourage more of this type of development to be done in the city. It's not a subdivision. It's not an individual house. So we really had to work with the sewer authority and the planning departments to really think about, how to build 12 units, rebuilding and redensifying 12 houses on one block. So if you could just go back, just some photographs. These on Adams Street are all stick built. They do all have driveways, garages, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, about 1,400 square feet, these houses. So these houses are almost done. It's been a terrible winter. So we're hoping that April to late April, we should be ready to present these homes to the community. That just an example. These are, and also this particular community on Adams Street, they have a very strong block club. They really wanted to see single-story housing available for some of their senior population. So we did a blend of primarily 2-story and some 1-story homes on Adams Street. So there's some photographs for you, just your role as a board member. Why are you sitting here? Well, hopefully you're going to keep us informed about work that's going on in your individual municipalities and how can we work with you. I know, Thomas, we've talked about perhaps working sessions with the city of Buffalo to try to understand further how we can work as a tool to work, to kind of help make things happen in your communities. Please share your thoughts with us, what your community needs, how can we help with whether it's a redevelopment opportunity, acquisitions, new grant programs and partnerships. And with regard to compliance and reporting, there is a little ABO training that's required. Some of you may already sit on boards where you've had to do the ABO training. If you haven't, there is a required session, so we can follow up with you. It's actually pretty interesting to go through. It's just a one-time thing, but that there's not a lot that's required of you outside of any form of training except for the ABO. And then finally, we do have an executive committee and we do have 4 subcommittees. So we have our current chair, Scott Bileski. Vice chair currently is vacant with the administration change. Our treasurer is currently Adam McNeil from the city of Tonawanda. We have 4 subcommittees, which real estate, governance, audit and finance, and personnel. The real estate committee meets the most often. Governance typically meets only once a year, audit and finance twice a year, and personnel, personnel should be biannually. Sorry, that meets usually twice a year. So we do have those committees, and once a year in March, which happens to be next month, we try to seat our new slate. So we're hoping that we may interest you in participating in one or more of those committees. That would be helpful to us. And again, not a heavy lift. As I said, it's real estate would be the most heavy lift where we'd probably meet the most often, but real estate is a pretty interesting topic. So it's not typically too tough to field that committee. So that's really, I think, is that the end?
Meeting.
Okay. And finally, our proposed meeting schedule. Now, typically, we would have already adopted this at our December board meeting, but because of the administration change, we haven't done that yet. We've been meeting on third Thursdays at 2:30. Meetings typically take about an hour. So we do have a proposed schedule for the year, and we do have that included in the package. Does anybody that knows right now at the table have an issue with continuing that time into the future? Because today we were going to vote on approving that board schedule for the rest of the year. But it is flexible if anybody has issues. We can try and come up with something new.
19th is March Madness, so I might not be here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and it's my birthday too, so.
Yeah.
Well, we of course understand, we understand that all board members can't come to every meeting, absolutely. as long as 6 would constitute a quorum of the board to enable us to do business.
And that's it.
So I think that's it. That was a mouthful. Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
Around, because I don't know if you guys know any of us. I'm just meeting you. We it makes
Sure.
sense to go around and
Sure. Let me turn the light back on. You want to do a quick intro? Mhm.
Oh,
Do you want to do intros? Yeah. It sounds like Dan wants intros. Yeah.
Dan gets it. Yeah, I know. He's gonna be whining, right?
More so usually.
just for that.
Scott Valesky, I'm the chair of the board, and I'm also not chair. I'm the director of real property tax services for the county.
Dan Castle, Commissioner of your County Department of Environment Planning, Thomas's former boss. My claim to fame. I taught him everything he knows.
That's a good claim.
That's why he wanted the intro.
Jeremy Tells, County Attorney.
Lou Petrucci, Commissioner of Permits and Inspections.
I'm Karen Utz. I'm ESD's Western New York Regional Director, so I'm representing New York State on this board.
Michael Milks, I'm the assessor for the city of Lackawanna.
I'm Jocelyn Gordon, Executive Director of Benlick.
Matt Zano, Program Coordinator at Benlick.
Ed McNeil, City of Tonawanda Treasurer, and Treasurer here for our Board of Directors.
Jessica Brown, Commissioner of Administration and Finance. Rosa Pusey, City of Buffalo Corporation Council.
Thomas Baines, came up under the tutelage of Dan Castle. Well, thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Benjamin Brown, I'm the project manager at Benlick.
John Good, I'm the construction manager for Benlick.
And just as if everybody didn't already know, the board is all ex officio. So everyone is here by title. So when that person leaves, the new person, and so that's why you're sitting here on the board by title.
We got John Sid.
Yes, we introduced him as well also earlier. John is our counsel, our legal counsel, he's in Syracuse at this time, but John has special land bank expertise. And John, I don't know if you want to say anything. You're welcome, or just hello. Okay. Great. Thank you. No, that's great. And I'll make, so we'll have all those, maybe those can get done before the annual meeting next month if we send them out electronically and you can fill it out, or we'll have hard copies at the table, at the annual meeting for everyone to fill out. And that would be everybody to update the ones that you've already, completed. Okay.
So moving along.
Yeah.
So item number 3, 2026 survey for annual meeting. Did you want to talk about the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So your little top sheet here, and nobody has to do anything today, but if you did have an interest in possibly taking a position on any of our either our executive committee or one of our 4 subcommittees, please let us know that. You can write it down and just rip the top off and leave it here. Because we will be sort of bothering you throughout the month to see if we can refill out those slates. It would be helpful, again, just for example, like we have a personnel committee at this point that does not have a City of Buffalo representative on it. We'd love to have that representative on our personnel committee to round that out if we're going to keep it similar to next year. But if you have an interest, and then we will follow up with you so we can do that. the second thing that we had right here, and again, we respect your time, but we wanted to, I think we're trying to, as a board, we'd like to try and get some direction from all of you, from all of your, from all of the FGUs that you're representing, and hopefully try and give Benlick a future direction, right? We've done a lot and we've been evolving over time with lots of different types of programs. And now we would kind of like to hear from you as a board, for example, what kind of outcomes we should be prioritizing. And perhaps, for example, Thomas, this is something that you bring back to your planning staff, your real estate people. We have a working session and we talk about, how can you best use Benlick? What can we do for you with regard to outcomes, property control? Are there any municipal partnerships that you'd like to see, other areas of the county to focus on, program focus? We can do any kind of development. We can do single family, we can do multifamily, we can technically do commercial, land assembly. What would you like to see? And then different types of funding approaches. So again, it's just sort of a menu of something to think about, like how can the board help to shape where we go from here and what we do with all the funding that's going to turn over once we sell all of these 67 houses that we have. We want to be recycling those funds and also our new funds from HCR. So that's all.
And item number 4, approval of the November 2025 minutes. Though that would be on pages 3 through 5. Is there a pleasure of the board? Thank you, Thomas.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lou. There's a motion made and seconded. Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 5, Treasurer's Report, November 2025 through January 26th on pages 7 through 17. Jocelyn?
Right. So we have several months of treasurer's reports to review because the committee or the board didn't meet during this transition change. So I'll just sort of explain the way that our report is formatted. The first page, for example, November 25, you can see in general the activity for the month. The following page then takes that same activity from the month of November and it gives you an idea of from what funding source that money is coming from. So you can see the different sources of funding that Benlick is working with and what those expenses are. So in general, we have 3 of those months to approve. And do I legally need to read each month of balance, or should I just read the most recent? Should I?
I would say to at least give the highlight for those.
Sure. I mean, really, what's going on?
And then the more recent month, yeah.
Sure. So starting in November, really the expenses that are going out the door are related to our construction projects. So if you look to the bottom of the page, you can see we have 7 different bank accounts or treasury bill areas where we can make some interest. We have separate accounts for the city's ARPA account, the county's ARPA account. We have our day-to-day account. We try to keep CDs and treasuries, but overall in November, we had a total account balance of $14,922,541.20 gathered. And Dan, in response, I know that you requested an interest report. We have been able to generate some pretty decent interest over the past few years with this ARP money. We'll have that at our annual, we're having our audit done now. So we'll have that report for you so you can see that at our next. So December 2025 Treasury report, very similar. We're still mainly, this is all mostly new construction and rehab oriented. Balance at $15,125,078.35. And January, again, balance at approximately $15,035,000. Oh my gosh, how do I say that one?
You were saying it right.
$15,035,652.18. Thank you. Little tongue tie. Similar.
So this is only cash, right? So this isn't showing a balance sheet usually?
Correct. We don't usually do a balance sheet at the board meetings.
Okay.
It is cash, and then the really big expense, which is to our construction manager, that's doing the 47 houses, that's not happening really. That's not flowing through this account, so it doesn't show here. But there was a GMP approved by the board and a year's worth of approved wire transfers that have been going out on a monthly basis. So that 25 million is not washing through this treasury report. But you will see, for example, our annual meeting next year, we'll have a report specifically for that. So you can look at that year of activity with regard to that large project.
We wanted to see the cash flow. Was that for the treasurer's report?
That's it.
So we needed a motion then on the treasurer's report for November 25 through January 20 of 26.
Motion.
Motion made. Is there a
Second.
motion made and second? Thank you, Jeremy and Adam.
And thanks to Adam, who approves so many of these transactions. There's a lot of them.
They're spending big money.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, approval of 2026 Benlick meeting schedule. Page 19. Jocelyn already had set it forth. Anything, well, is there a motion? Oh, thank you, Thomas. Second. Seconded by Dan Lou with a close, almost second. Anything on the question? Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Personnel committee report, departures and administrative changes.
Sure. Just wanted to report to the board. So we just this past week, we lost our program manager, Alexis Dewey, did a great job, and a tremendous amount of bookkeeping work, managing all of these grants. So we met with the personnel committee over this past week and just wanted to let the board know we are working with Lumsden and McCormick, who is our accounting firm that works with us on a quarterly basis. And we're making sure that they can take over essentially this job temporarily while we receive proposals we've already got a really good one from Lumsden and a couple other firms to make sure that we can keep our compliance and reporting in excellent shape. Everything's in excellent shape, and we just want to make sure that it stays in excellent shape, and that we have other sets of eyes. There's a lot of money washing through the corporation now, so we want to just make sure that we've got Lumsden on the case, and we have a strong relationship with them. So we will present to the personnel committee again those new proposals. And just wanted to inform the board about that.
Is she in place or what's the status?
Not immediately. So that's what we're meeting with the committee about.
So we have the personnel committee, we did talk about that. And, you know, we can't really afford a lapse in our compliance and reporting right now. And so the solution we came up with was to use Lumsden at least through the end of the year. And then by then, you know, if we figure out, you know, the direction of the organization, you know, post ARPA infill, you know, get a sense of, do we need to backfill that specific position? Do we need a different type of position rather than rushing to fill in?
Yeah, at this time, the amount of bookkeeping and grant management is very high, almost to the point where we need some type of financial specialist, either here or outsource. We need to kind of make that decision because it's quite a lot of work.
During this last year, the ARPA funds will focus on what's going on. Lumsden's very familiar with it. So at least through the end of the ARPA reporting period this year, my best to continue on the shift we have and revisit it.
So it will look outsourcing the route to go. It looked like, and it will also look like it would be financially beneficial to do the outsourcing, revisiting perhaps next year, whether it be in-house or not. Anything else?
That's all?
on
No,
personal reports?
no.
So executive director's report?
That's all. Just wanted to let everybody, I think I mentioned it a couple times. Next month is our annual meeting. So we will have a meeting of the Audit and Finance Committee to review our audit, which is going on now prior. So that's all.
Okay. Any further business? Motion to get the heck out of here?
I will.
I thought there was something about a lawsuit that we had discussed.
There wasn't enough information to discuss further at this time.
Oh, okay.
It was brought up.
Oh,
In between.
all right, I just what I saw.
Adam did the motion stand, so you make it. Thank you.
We're good. Thank
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
you.